Welcome to the Q.A.C. Team Podcast, your quality assurance consulting team. Quality is our highest priority for your business with one goal, one direction, success. And now here's your host, Charles Luttrell. Good afternoon, listeners. I'm here with Brittany. Brittany, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. How are you?
I'm great. How about yourself?
I'm good.
Good. Go ahead and tell our listeners who you are and what you do.
So my name is Brittany. I am the owner of the Hive Creative Kitchen and Events in Rumsey Island, which is in Joppatown. And I also own Desserts by Bombin Babes. And I have an event space and a shared kitchen at the Hive. And then I have a cottage food business with Desserts by Bombin Babes, which will soon merge into the Hive.
So you're going to put them both together now.
Yes. So the Hive, I have a commercial kitchen. I'm a licensed caterer with the state of Maryland, governed by the health department. They gave me their lovely blessing. Thank you, health department.
Congratulations. That's awesome. Great.
Thank you very much. So I think that maybe in the next few months, we'll see what happens. I will probably end up merging the two, just to make it a little bit easier with everything else. Cottage food business, a lot of people don't realize, is not something that is governed by the health department. There is limited things that you can make as a cottage food baker that is different than what you can make in a commercial kitchen, because we do have HACCP plans and stuff like that, which allows you to have a food safe plan on what you can and can't, can sell to the public. So It's a little bit different. But I think that just merging the two would probably be easier.
Right.
But we'll see what happens.
Right. Now, will there be a name merge?
Probably not. I haven't. That's what I got to figure out. I have a lot of followers with Desserts by Bombin Babes.
Right.
And so that's where I'm at. I don't know.
Right.
That's the up in the air part with the Hive just getting started. People really don't realize that I do have two businesses. They think it's a whole new person that's starting, but really it's not. It's just me.
Well, you got me. Remember, we talked about that.
I know. Yes. See, we did. Yes, you didn't even realize it.
Oh my gosh, that was so funny. I'm texting you and like, oh, wait, hold up here, wait a minute.
Yeah, but I've done a good job of keeping the two separate. So yeah, I really have kept them separate. The Hive is a totally different concept, and I don't want that to get lost in the hustle and bustle. So that's why I'm on the fence of if I want to merge the two.
Yeah.
So that's where I stand on that, and I just haven't made that full decision. I do have, with having the catering license and stuff like that, I'm able to make a lot more desserts with at the Hive, because with the cottage food business, you're not allowed to sell anything that's like cheese or anything that's temperature safe. So
I was going to say things that temperature, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Cheesecakes, stuff like that. You're not supposed to sell them as a cottage food baker. Royal icing is another one that, unless you actually send it out to get it tested to see what the pH balance and stuff is, because it's meringue powder is like a substitute for egg. You can't really do it as a cottage business. So there's a lot to it, but having the kitchen really does open up the doors for a whole lot more.
That's great. Yeah, definitely opens up the doors. Yep. So why did you decide to be a business owner?
Because I do like working for myself and making my own hours. So you got to start somewhere, right? If I can grow my business to get to the point where I don't have to work for a company anymore, or I guess you'd call it corporate world, then I would like to do that. I would also, my daughter is 6, so she will be 7, and she has very much taken an interest into what I do with the baking and the creative event space. So she has told me that she would like to take it over when she gets older. So if I can leave something behind for her, I think that is what drives me to have my own business.
Right.
And also, I can give back to the community more. I do a lot of charity work. I donate a lot of my profit, especially with Desserts by Two Bombin Babes. The Hive, just started and stuff. I work with Jennifer Hammer. Her son was killed on his way to John Carroll about 10 years ago. No, he was 15. So I think it was 6 years ago. And she it's called the Joshua Hammer Legacy Foundation. She does scholarships for kids to be able to go to college and also to go to John Carroll. Her son played baseball, so I've done a couple bingos with her. I'm doing another one coming up in November. We're probably going to help her out with her crab feast. Now that I have the Hive, we'll probably host her crab feast at the Hive next summer, so everyone can be on the lookout for that. And then the other one I do a lot of work with is Hartford Music. They are a drama theater program in Hartford County. There isn't a lot of them, and they put on plays and shows. They're actually doing one tonight at Hopkins Brewery. It's like a scary one for Halloween, and the proceeds of my sales always usually go to them. So we figure out which way to do it, and usually it's just to cover the cost of whatever I'm making them, and I donate my time pretty much.
Wow, that's very generous. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, so I feel like when you're a business owner, you can do that. When you're not a business owner, you really can't do that.
Yeah.
So,
yep, it's definitely a difficult balance. That's for sure.
yes,
Yeah.
it is. Just a little bit.
Yeah. Well, especially with what you got going on, you're two businesses and you're working full time, and I think it's
Yeah.
great that your daughter has interest in what you're doing. That's great. You know.
Yes. She
Yeah. So.
loves to do it.
Uh-huh.
We do it on the side. We don't do it because, I won't sell anything. That Not that she's not my cleanliest child, and we use gloves and we wash our hands a million times, but I think it's really important to teach her the practices of how the kitchens ran first. And when she gets a little bit older, then I will let her start doing her own baking and selling and letting her do that. But I think to get the fundamentals of what we're doing is really important.
Right. Very, very key point. That's great. So my next question is, why did you choose your industry? What brought you to cakes and cupcakes and whatever else you make, and then to the Hive? Very
So,
interesting.
so I've always had an interest in baking. It's always been a passion of mine. Back when COVID hit, hot cocoa bombs uh, became like this new thing. People didn't really know what it was, how it went about. So my girlfriend and I was talking to her, and she's like, "Oh, I just ordered these." I was like, "Really?" I was wanted to do the same thing for Christmas. I thought they'd be a great gift, and we started making hot cocoa bombs. And then COVID hit, and it was just, we had fun doing it. It was fun for us. That's how people don't realize how we got our name. Well, that's how Desserts by Two Bombin Babes came, because it was really Two Bombin Babes. It was two because there was two of us, and her husband helped come up with the name, and we did hot cocoa bombs. She loves the chocolate aspect of it and the hot cocoa bomb aspect of it, but not the baking aspect of it. So I was like, hey, I want to do more from this, because it just pulled out my love for baking.
Right.
And making cake pops and getting back into that, and looking at where I was when I was in my 20s when I was making cake pops to now is totally different. Like, it's the 360 on what they look like. And so that's where the Desserts by Two Bombin Babes came in. And the Hive, how the Hive came about was, I was helping a restaurant in Jocktown called Lynn Yep, and she had the restaurant event space, and she did catering too. And Fortune Empanadas uses her space, and so does another food truck. and she decided that just this year that she didn't want to have the space anymore. Didn't say anything to anyone. And she told the one guy, well, she talked to the cooks and stuff, but or the other food trucks that were in there, and said that she just didn't want the overhead anymore, and loved catering but just didn't want to have the space. So when I saw one of the chefs post that he wasn't going to be cooking for a while, that the kitchen was closing, I immediately called her and I said, "What are you doing?" She said, "What do you mean?" I said, "Why didn't you call me? I want this. Like, I want to help you." She's like, "Well, I just, it's just too much right now." And I was like, "Okay, well," so I got on the ball and called the landlord and I said, "What, is anyone looking at it?" She said no. They said no. And I said, "Okay, well, I'm very interested." She goes, "Okay." So I just started making the phone calls, finding out what the insurance was going to be and where it was going to go. You don't have a commissary kitchen, you can't have a food truck. So I looked at it as, if this kitchen closes, these food trucks, they have to go somewhere else. And it's really hard to find one locally. There's not a lot around.
Uh-huh.
So I talked to still on board if I took over. I talked to a creative chef. He said yes. Boards by Dana was there. She actually just opened up her own storefront, so she's no longer a part of. I mean, she's still in the has access to our kitchen. I'll always help her wherever I can because catering and stuff like that. But she now has a brick and mortar location in Bel Air where the purple bicycle used to be. That's now Boards by Dana.
Hmm.
So I want to be able to give those people who want to get into this industry a place to have a creative outlet. So that's what the
Right.
Hive is. That's where the creative kitchen and events came from, because at a restaurant, there's been a couple different restaurants in there, and not that the food isn't good. Lynn Yep's food is amazing. I never went into the other restaurant there. There's been like 3 restaurants in that area, but people forget that we're there. We're in
Yeah.
Joppatown, we're on the water, and people like convenience factors, and it's not a convenient location for a lot of people to go to. It's not like
Right.
downtown Bel Air.
Yeah.
We can go to Bel Air and it's there. It's
Right.
not like that. So
Yeah.
people forget that we're there. They
Yeah, I
truly do.
remember before Lanyap, it was I think Santini's. They were one of my clients when I ran my mystery shopping company back in 2008.
hmm
They were one
So
of my
you had
clients.
right. You had Santini's. You had Butcher's Kitchen was there for a little bit. Then you had Len Yep, and like I said, I never was at I never had Santini's and I never had Butcher's Kitchen, but Len Yep's
Mhm,
food was amazing. Her po'
mhm,
boys are to die for. She makes a shrimp and catfish po' boy. Her
mhm.
shrimp and grits are really good. Um,
Now, are they still fixing their food there? Are they still going to have food, or are they
yeah,
completely out?
no, no, no. They're still catering. They're still using. Um, they have access to the kitchen.
Mhm.
We still do that, and so she's still there.
Mhm. Gotcha.
Um, so it's for people to. The Hive is for people to grow and maybe come on to their next journey of what they want to do.
What they want to do, right? Yeah, that's
Right.
that's that's a pretty good business model. Yeah. So with these two businesses and your full-time job, it sounds like you got your hands full. So my next question is, what are some of the challenges that you face with juggling these two businesses with your job and getting the Hive up and running and with your dessert business?
Time, like you just said, juggling everything. I am a mom too. My daughter is, 6. She'll be 7 in October. So it's really a balancing act between, really, I have 4 jobs. I'm a mom, I have my full-time job, and I run 2 businesses. So
Yeah.
I'm I'm stretched thin, but I will say that my saving grace is my mom. She is one of my biggest supporters. My sister is too. Um, Anytime I need anything, they're always there, willing to help. I have an amazing support system also with my friends and my family. They all came out today to support us. So really it does take, when people say it takes a village to have kids and stuff, it really takes a village to have a good business
Yeah.
and have that strong backing. Dana told me to like go for it. I've talked to her. She's been one of my business mentors. So has Therese with Lanyep. And Dana's like, just take the plunge. She's like, you're never gonna know unless you do it and then you fail. Or you don't fail and you succeed. So that's where we are. And I just
Yeah.
hit the
Yep.
ground running.
Yep. Very good advice. Just hit the ground running. You know, absolutely. So, we talked about a little bit of with the chocolate bombs back with COVID. So, how has the pandemic changed your business model? What you're focused on now from the time when you started with COVID?
Um the so COVID, I think, really affect a lot of businesses. But for us, it really didn't affect us too much because we really weren't around a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I also think that it was a really hot commodity because it wasn't saturated with the market yet. People didn't know, still kind of don't know what a hot cocoa bomb is. Now the market's picking up on it, so that's kind of different. So I've had to change my business plan, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
that's what you have to do. You have to adapt to the things that are going on. Um, so I've changed my business module and like what I'm doing and how I'm doing things. Um, it hasn't affected us really too much. Um, but we've just had to change some things around. I
Mm-hmm.
want to say it's not even COVID, right? Because COVID's on the, I don't know if it's on the mend, but it's kind of slowed down a little bit. I do think it's the economy. I think we've moved to the economy now. How has that affected our business? I think that
Mm-hmm.
affects everyone's business. Prices are
Yeah.
going up, things are
Yeah.
getting higher. Um, these a lot of people don't want to pay for a custom cake, right? Or custom treats or custom desserts, but they forget that it's custom. So custom takes a lot of time and labor. It's labor intensive.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes um, a cake pop, you're like, oh, it's just a cake pop, right? It's, you just bake your cake and you dip it in chocolate. But what's going into that? There's hours. If you want something that's elaborate, like a ghost, or let's say going around the world, or there's a theme, Toy Story, something. That's labor intensive. That's a lot of time.
Yes,
And
it
then people
is.
are like, oh, I don't want to pay for that. But I mean, it's time. When you think about it, it's time away from my kid, or it's time away from my family, my home, when
Mm-hmm.
I'm in the kitchen and stuff. So that, I think that's why a lot of these businesses aren't doing a lot of custom stuff anymore, because it's labor intensive and it's more expensive and people don't want to pay it. And I
Mm-hmm.
really can't blame them, because the economy. It's not. It's the economy and the way that it is.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. It's
so
affecting everybody. It's even affecting my business model. It's a challenge to get in front of businesses who you want to sell an extra service and they don't want to take on anything. And
right,
it makes it a challenge for everyone. Yeah,
yes.
absolutely.
So I mean, I I'm gonna say, like, starting the Hive, I was like, oh, is this a good time to do
Is this
this?
good time to do this? Right? Yeah.
Because, it's more of an event space, but do people want to pay the money to have an event somewhere?
Mm-hmm.
Some people do, some people don't, and I get it. But there's also, another aspect of this is that there's not a lot of places in Harford County that will allow you to bring your own food in to an event space. I'm sitting here at Hopkins right now. I got to drop off something, but you can bring your own food here. It's
Mm-hmm.
open field. It's not governed by the health department and stuff like that.
Right.
But a lot of these event venues, they don't want you bringing in your own food. They don't, because they're governed by the health department. But there's precautions and measures that you got to take. So it's like, how can I change that? How can I give a family that wants to have a really nice place for a birthday, how can I make it more affordable for their pockets? So that's kind
Right.
of what I want to do with the Hive too, is that I don't want to make it astronomical. I want to make it nice.
Mm-hmm.
It is nice. We put a lot of work into redoing the paint and putting some personal touches on things. Um, but I want to make it affordable for the family to go out and have a party that's not going to break the bank,
Right.
or that is a really pretty venue because it's along the water, so you can do inside and outside and have people come back to spend time with their family.
Absolutely. Yep. Yeah. I think, even with the economy, I think, this is still going to be good for you because, like you said, it's a place for people to go to have a party or hold an event, and a lot of people, like you said, they're looking for places and getting your name out there and, getting this thing, visible, so people know that this is there because it is a little hidden area. I say hidden gem, because
Yes.
it's a nice place, down by the water, and it's beautiful down there, you know?
Yes. Thank you. Yes.
Yeah. Yep. So how do we contact you? How do we find you?
So you can find us on Facebook and Instagram. Our handle is the Hive. Well, on Instagram it's at the Hive at Rumsey, and Facebook is the same thing. Um, and if you can't find the Hive, you can always find us on Desserts by Two Bombin Babes, because it is me. So you can, we're linkable. But we're on Instagram and we're on Facebook, and we have an email. It's the Hive at Rumsey at gmail.com.
Perfect. Perfect. Well, Brittany, do you have anything else you want to add? Any thoughts for in closing?
We do have an event coming up at the end of October. It's Ladies Night Out. Sorry, guys. Um,
Thanks.
you're welcome. We're doing Coastal Cookies is coming down to the Hive, and she's going to give us a tutorial on how to make some of her delicious cookies, sugar cookies. We also have Catamus Designs is going to do a beautiful wine glass decoration. So you're getting two events in one. Also, Len Yep and myself, Desserts by Two Mom and Babes, will be making small bites and desserts. And then also, Len Yep is going to do a pop up that night. So she is going to have a full menu out for people
Mhm.
to be able to purchase.
Very
Um,
cool. Very cool.
and Clay Bella will be there to sell jewelry as well.
Nice. Now, how do we order your desserts? Is there a website, or do we just reach out to you through social media?
So just reach out to us on social media. We haven't gotten a webpage up on Desserts by Two Bomb and Babes. The
Okay.
Hive does have a website. It's thehive at rumsey.com. Again, this is where it's coming into, do I merge the two? Do I keep them separate?
Right. Right.
Um, so
Yeah.
we will figure that out soon enough, but you can always reach us to order our desserts through um, Desserts by Two Bomb and Babes.
Gotcha. And the last question: would you like to offer a discount to our listeners?
Sure. If
Awesome.
they, so we can do a 10% off on the ticket if they are going to come out to the ladies' night, and there is a sip on us too. Hartford Vineyard, we are is supplying the drinks for our sip on us, so the Hive is purchasing the drinks, and they are all free on us from Hartford Vineyard. So if they mention that they heard us on the podcast, and they can get 10% off the ticket. And the ticket for that event is $75. Um, but you're getting so much for the ticket, it's totally worth it.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
Awesome. Anything else?
No, I think that's it.
Awesome. Brittany, thank you so much for coming on and telling your story. I think it's fantastic what you're doing. Keep
Thank
up
you
the
so
good work.
much.
And to our
Thank you.
listeners, I have had your cake pops and they are bombing.
Thank you.
My kids loved them. I loved them. I'm like, Dad, we got to get more of these. I said, slow your roll. We'll get them. Don't worry.
Yes, yes. I will. We'll have some made. That's for sure. We'll get them. We'll get them made for you.
So delicious. Brittany, thanks
Thank you.
again so much for coming on and enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you. You too.
Thank you so much. Take care. Bye.
All right. Bye bye.
You've been listening to the Q.A.C. Team Podcast with your host, Charles Luttrell. Connect with us on the web at qacteam.com, Facebook and Instagram at qac.team. Thanks for listening.